STV, votre télé.
News on STV coming up. Senegal bids farewell to Russia as it could not stand up to Colombia. The man-to-man clash, which ended with a 0 for the Teranga Lions and 1 for Colombia, thereby put an end to the journey of African nations in the 2018 World Cup. French Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs Jean-Baptiste Lemoyne urges the government of Cameroon to focus on fighting Boko Haram, climate change while boosting youth empowerment. He has begun his working visit in the country today. Those were top stories. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for taking the rendezvous at 8 p.m. on STV. The French Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, Jean-Baptiste Lemoyne, has been received by the Minister Delegate at the Ministry of External Relations at Doumgara on day 1 of his working visit in Cameroon. Within about 45 minutes, both men reviewed Franco-Cameroonian relations in several domains, one of which the debt relief program. Jean-Baptiste Lemoyne said focus should be on youth empowerment, combating Boko Haram, and climate change. The French Secretary of State is expected to discuss economic and security issues with President Paul Biya, especially the ongoing Anglophone crisis. Henry Warner reports.
The relationship between Cameroon and France has remained cordial ever since Cameroon gained her independence in 1960. From economic, cultural and political domains, the two nations have been waxing very strong. Given the socio-political unrest that has been rocking Cameroon for the past 2 years, French officials on several occasions have been expressing concerns on the sporadic attacks meted on unarmed civilians and the military, and fear the crisis could turn into a full-blown civil war. A frank, sincere, comprehensive and inclusive dialogue, which was prescribed by the Secretary General of Commonwealth, Patricia Scotland, at the end of her 5-day stay in Cameroon, has very little evidence of real progress. For sure, just like the Commonwealth, the UN and other foreign bodies have been calling for peace in Cameroon. However, French Secretary of State to the Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs, Jean-Baptiste Lemoyne, is on a 2-day working visit to Cameroon. He is expected to meet with elites of the Southwest and Northwest regions to better understand the plight of the people and propose the way out from this troubling situation, which has left many dead, families separated, and thousands homeless. He shall as well be granted audience at the Unity Palace to have an exchange with President Paul Biya on strides made this far to restore peace in the country, which has witnessed social unrest lately as a result of linguistic divide and colonial legacy.
An attack by the secessionist group is reported to have taken place in Babaju, West region of Cameroon. Though no casualty was recorded, 3 members of the group are said to have been apprehended by forces of law and order. Henry Warner.
The town of Babaju in the Mbabotos division, West region of the country, has recently had its own taste of the secessionist attack, though no casualty was recorded. According to denizens of the locality who spoke off mic, the perpetrators of the acts at the Gendamarie Brigade of Babaju were 6 of them in number, who got ferried into the vicinity through the use of bikes on the night of June 26. The lone Gendamarie officer who was on duty quickly informed his colleagues who were on a patrol in other neighborhoods. Good enough, they responded promptly and launched an attack to track down the group. 3 suspected, we are told, are in the dragnet of the military while the hunt continues. However, an urgent security meeting took place in Buda, with decisions taken to beef up security in Babaju, not too far from Santam in the Northwest region. As at now, the population is calm and gradually returning to their daily activities.
President Paul Biya has proposed economic and financial reforms in the 2019 state budget. These are aimed at supporting the economic recovery of the country while strengthening and modernizing the property tax collection system in Cameroon. John Paul Sama.
As far as tax revenues are concerned, the optimal mobilization of resources should be underpinned by the broadening of the tax base, securing of revenues and the way in which they are collected, as well as reinforcing the fight against tax evasions, not leaving out rationalization of tax expenditures, which will focus specifically on the search for innovative sources of broadening the tax base. This is one of the main substances communicated by President Paul Biya through the circular on the preparation of the state budget for 2019. The orientations given by the head of state also reveals that the state plans to reduce tax expenditure through the gradual elimination of tax exemptions from indirect taxes up to 100 billion francs CFA in 2019, with efforts made towards the rationalization of expenditures. In terms of revenues, the main objective remains the optimal mobilization of domestic non-oil fiscal revenues, which will go a long way to support the economic recovery of the country in the context marked by the continued implementation of the Economic Partnership Agreement with the European Union and the persistence of low levels of commodity prices. In 2019, as the laid-down orientation states, there will be the strengthening and modernization of the property tax collection system in order to improve its contribution to the budget of the decentralized territorial communities and the state.
Stakeholders involved in the implementation of reforms on the status of public and private enterprises in Cameroon should speed up work so the sectors could reap its benefits. This was echoed by Prime Minister Philemon Yang in Yaoundé today at this month's cabinet meeting, during which presentations were made by Finance Minister Louis Paul Mutaze. Cameroon would therefore attain international standards in the domain and improve managerial skills of heads of establishments. Some 99 lawyers have been sworn in full-time at the Boya Court of First Instance, that is in the southwest region of the country. The new advocates have been told to execute their duties in accordance with the ethics of the profession. Clarissa Correa reports.
Here are some 99 advocates sworn in as full-time lawyers after undergoing a period of training through the Bar 1 and Bar 2 training processes to train Cameroon lawyers. Comes after decree number 020/DPJ/SG/MJ of 2nd April 2018 to publish the list of and selection of lawyers for legal assistance at the Supreme Court of Cameroon.
I, Anglophone of Matikes, swear as an advocate to perform my duties as counsel to the defense or as legal advisor in total independence and with dignity.
Taking place at the Boya Court of First Instance, Jackson Kamga, president of the Cameroon Bar Association, congratulated the new advocate while reminding them on the need to exercise their duties in respect to the cardinal principles of the profession, as they should uphold the virtues of discipline, hard work, and having a high standard of moral rectitude while avoiding any actions which might draw sanctions.
At the beginning of their career, they should be correct lawyers and they should not bring politics in the bar. 100 today, which means 99 coming from the bar exam part 2 and one lawyer coming from a foreign bar, the Engan bar.
To Barrister Agbobala, president of the Faco Lawyers Association.
So we hope and expect that when they join the profession, they would equally fight for justice. They would equally fight against marginalization and oppression of the people, because what I consider a lawyer is an advocate of justice.
On his part, the Attorney General of the Court of Appeal, Mbia Emmanuel, regretted the fact that the aspect of trust is fast disappearing amongst practicing lawyers, and thus there is a need to re-establish trust through fairness and impartiality was his watchword to the new advocates. It should be noted that there are 474 advocates sworn in nationwide to act as barristers, solicitors, notaries for a better administration of the law, given that advocates are said to be indispensable partners in the administration of law in the country.
A regional workshop organized by the World Health Organization to teach health experts from different African countries better monitor, plan and evaluate undergoing programs and interventions has ended. During the capacity building workshop in Yaoundé Wednesday, several problems faced by young girls within the age range of 10 to 19 were outlined. Let's get more from Cameroon's Public Health Minister and the WHO Technical Advisor.
Organized by WHO concern health adolescents, because we have a mondial document concerning how you can accelerate actions in direction of adolescents. Adolescents represent the age between 10 to 19. It's very, very important for that to know that at this age you have to adapt to take care in direction of their needs, the specific needs of adolescents. And it's very, very important, and we identify 7 problems. Then alcohol, smoke, HIV/AIDS, health problems, and sexual relations and other. Then this workshop will permit for the different countries to have tools will permit to identify these problems and organize the programmation in each country, how we can provide quality care in the direction of adolescents.
The Global Accelerated Action for the Health of Adolescents. I was saying that this guide was launched last year in Geneva, and the guide was developed in order to support the implementation of the adolescent health component of the global strategy for women, child, and adolescent. The guide is a document to support countries to know what to do and also how to do. The guide provides also evidence-based intervention to be implemented as part of the adolescent and school health. Another important thing to know is that the guide could help countries to better monitor, to better plan, and also to evaluate undergoing programs, interventions in the country. So this regional workshop is very important because we would like to build country capacities in using the AHA guidelines.
Still in health, the northwest region of the country has witnessed an improvement in the testing and treatment of children exposed to HIV and AIDS. This improvement is thanks to the Point of Care Infant Diagnostic Project that was introduced in 2016 and covers over 49 health facilities in the region. Lovetbe.
Statistics from the World Health Organization has proven that up to 30% of HIV-infected children who are not on treatment die before their first birthday, 50% before their second birthday, and 8% do not reach the age of 5. In a bid to increase the number of HIV-positive infants receiving life-saving treatment, the Point of Care Early Infant Diagnostic Project has been introduced in 9 high-prevalence countries, of which Cameroon is one.
PAF is supporting the Cameroon government, the Ministry of Health, to achieve the goal of pediatric HIV, to reduce the mortality rate because before now testing was only done in the reference lab at the regional level, but now in the Northwest, testing can be done in all the health districts.
This project started in the Northwest region in 2016 and covers over 49 health facilities whose heads came together in a point of care early infants diagnostics regional quarterly meeting to evaluate the level of implementation so far. In an effort to attain the objective of this project, several setbacks have been witnessed.
So we have challenges in transportation of specimens, but notwithstanding, we are doing this transportation. We are using bikers because of the rough terrain we have. We have hired bikes to pick up specimens from the spoke sites and take to the hub sites. There are some few challenges that the forms are not correctly filled, but we have given feedback to the chief of service for the districts, for the health districts, and we are trusting, as we have made recommendations, that they will go back and inform the sites to fill these forms correctly and transmit to us.
Despite these challenges, the project is actually creating an impact.
Using a new technology with the LAQ, it takes about 56 minutes for the results to be available, and you can actually ask the caregiver to sit and wait and collect her results.
The World Health Organization has recommended that all HIV-exposed infants be tested within 2 months of birth, and the Point of Care Early Infants Diagnostic Project hopes to attain this goal by 2019. The project is operational in 4 regions in the country and was introduced in Cameroon thanks to the Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation.
The increasing use of smartphones by youths in Boya to access social media platforms has dealt a serious blow on cyber cafes. Cyber operators talk of a fall in output since many only come around to print documents. Clarissa Correa reports.
Human beings are known as social animals, and one of the primary needs of humans is to communicate with each other. Thus, social media has become the most common platform through which communication, especially amongst youths nowadays, could be enhanced, as 93% of teenagers ages 12 to 21 years use social media platforms like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram to cyber these in order to stay connected with friends, relatives, and colleagues. The case of youth in Boya in the Southwest region is not different, as other platforms such as Google, MySpace, YouTube are equally not left out. The choice of using either of these platforms varies as per the need of the individual.
Facebook and WhatsApp, but WhatsApp mostly is for communication. Then the Facebook, you can use the Facebook to access advertisement.
Furthermore, the age-long practice of youth seen accessing internet in cyber cafes has dropped due to easy access to Android phones and social media platforms, which has forced some cyber cafe operators to divert their businesses to documentation services.
With the advent of smartphones, that's really affected our business, because those who used to come to browse, to Facebooking, all those things like that, now they don't buy time again. So now they use their smartphones, and we are diverting the business now to just typing and printing.
Although the advantages of social media outweighs its disadvantages to some parents,
defamatory information that can easily go online. Lies telling people information is not true, nowhere verified. They post on social media, and people, it radicalizes everywhere, and people take it on.
It should be noted that prolonged use or exposure to one's phone may result to increased cancer through electromagnetic radiation, while loss of sleep, anxiety, stress, and many more are some health disadvantages.
Let's get news out of Cameroon. VOA.
The news that celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain and fashion designer Kate Spade had taken their own lives sent shockwaves around the world. Their suicides happened around the same time the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued a report showing a 25% increase in suicides in the U.S. since 1999.
The data really speak volumes that the problem is getting worse. And so what is really needed is suicide prevention.
Charlie and Hannah Lucas are the creators of the Not Okay app, digital tool to help address the problem.
The Not Okay app is essentially a digital panic button that when pressed, it sends a text message that says, "Hey, I'm not okay. Come call me, text me, or come check up on me."
That message goes to a pre-selected group of 5 close contacts along with the sender's GPS location and directions. The 2 siblings came up with the idea after Hannah struggled with an illness that caused her to faint.
It's postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and basically it just causes me to pass out. I mean, I missed a lot of school because I was always the sick kid, doctor appointments, emergency rooms, IV infusions, blood tests, everything.
Hannah says she was often bullied at school because of her condition.
I was always in fear, you know. It got to a point where I was afraid to leave my bed. And I just developed really bad depression and anxiety. I mean, I'm talking eating disorders, self-harm, and multiple suicide attempts. It was terrible.
The next day after she told me her idea, I've been helpless for too long because whenever she passed out, I couldn't catch her, I couldn't drive her to the doctor, I couldn't do anything for her. So my first thought was, why not? And on that very day, I started doing the wireframe, which was basically the prototype version of the app.
Hannah is doing better now, and she says the app is not just for preventing suicide. It can be used by anyone who's not okay.
No matter what you're going through, I mean, you need to keep that contact with people because isolating yourself is just going to make everything worse, no matter what it is.
The 2 have won several awards for the app, including one recently from Mental Health America. It's been downloaded more than 15,000 times since it was released in the U.S. earlier this year. Mariama Diallo, VOA News, Washington.
Sports football, the Teranga Lions of Senegal have been ousted from the ongoing 2018 World Cup in Russia. Their loss 0-1 against Colombia this afternoon, and having received more yellow cards than Japan, was not in their favor. Looking at the classification table, Colombia will face runners-up from Group G, either England or Belgium, while Japan awaits winners in Rostov-on-Don Monday. How did Senegalese living in Cameroon witness today's match? Let's watch. We are sorry we cannot have that information, but we note that the Teranga Lions have been ousted from the ongoing 2018 World Cup in Russia, which puts to an end the stay of African nations in Russia for the 2018 World Cup competition. Thank you so much for watching. Join you tomorrow, same time, same TV station, if God pleases. Bye-bye.
STV, votre télé.